Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Welcome back to my channel. I am Regina Monique, and on this channel, I share faith-based content to help us live courageously for God. If you have been here a while, thank you so much for coming back. I realized that it has been quite some time since I posted my last video, and I'm gonna get into that a little bit later. But I just thought that I would just do a quick little get ready with me this morning. As you all know, we just moved into our new home, and we've been in our home for almost 2 months now. And I know that I said that I would come back and do a house tour. Well, there is so much that still needs to be done, or so many things that we want to do. There are a few things that still need to be done, even though we have officially moved in. But I want to make sure that we have everything in order before I actually film that video. But we are so grateful to finally be in our house. It was a very lengthy process, and right at the end, it got super stressful. From the final walkthrough to the actual first couple of weeks of being in the house, they were actually kind of stressful. And there were just a lot of things that we had to figure out and really trust the Lord about, because it just wasn't how we imagined that it would be. And so we were tested in a lot of different ways. But like I said, we are still very grateful to be at the end, of this process. I do have to say, though, that one of the biggest kind of things that I felt like God was revealing to me over and over and over again through this whole process was that, yes, while we did work very hard to have this house built, and we worked very hard to furnish it and make it beautiful, and there's nothing wrong with having nice things. This house, everything in it and everything that we worked hard for is only temporary. And so, I still feel like that God is trying to show me that my treasures are not here on earth, that my treasures actually lie in heaven, and that even though this process was very stressful at the end, and it just seemed like, I don't know, it felt like we just dealt with a lot of unnecessary stuff. Even though all of that was the way it was, this world is actually not my home. This is a house. This is where I live. This is where, I have a place to just enjoy, life in this house, but it's not my actual home. And so that has helped me not to be quite so anxious moving forward since the move-in. But yeah, it was kind of crazy towards the end, but I think that God has really helped my heart to see that this world is actually not our home. Even though we may call this house a home, it's just temporary, and that we actually are storing our treasures, or should store our treasures, in heaven. Hey y'all, so it is much later in the day. I'm actually just getting home from work. I'm about to heat me up some leftovers that I made last night, eat some dinner, and then we're gonna sit down and have us a little chatty chat, okay? think we're a little crooked, but I don't know that I know how to fix that on the camera. Try not to spill my coffee. Whew. I'm trying to lay off sugar, and so when I drink coffee, I use 0 sugar creamer, and then I like to put the 0 sugar whipped cream on top because it makes kind of a frothy like texture on the top, and it's good. So you should try it. It's really, really good. But this is dessert for me tonight. Anyway, hello. Welcome back to the channel. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. You can tell that I haven't filmed in a really long time because I keep saying which is something that I had broken out of before. But now I don't know. It's not that I'm nervous and that I don't know what to say. It's just I feel awkward because it's been so long since I've been on camera and spoke to you guys on camera. But we're gonna get through this because I actually do have something that I want to share. Like I said this morning, I know it's been a minute since I filmed the last video, especially with us having moved into our house and having, just being settled. I am going to do an updated video. I am going to do a new house tour. But like I said, I wanted to make sure all of our updates and just different things that we want to change. There's some things my mom wants to do in the kitchen. I want to make sure all those things are done so that I can give you the real. So yeah, but anyway, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about the house. We're going to talk about kind of where I've been and why I haven't really been filming other content. It's not a house tour, home decor kind of channel. It's been a part of my journey, and so I have brought you guys along with us on that journey. And so that has been primarily the videos that I have been filming have been pertaining to the house. And so there is actually other content that I share on this channel if you're new here. If you happen to have found the channel because of the last video, which by the way, let me just say thank you to everybody who watched and supported and liked and commented and shared. Thank you guys. I hope that if you are a new subby that you would stick around for the other content that I have. I hope you've had an opportunity to take a look at some of my other videos. This is a faith-based channel, and I do share faith-based content to help us live courageously for God. That's what we stand for here. And so thank you so much for that. Now, moving on from that, there is other content that I could have shared outside of the house videos, the construction videos, the moving videos. But I have not been in a place where I really felt like I could come on here and really share. Like I've just been in this kind of a spiritual slump, if you will. And so I've kind of just pulled back from YouTube and sharing those kinds of videos and that content, which I'm learning more and more as I kind of have these periods where I break away. Is that's when you need to share the most, is when you're in those kind of dark times, right? Those times where you're not your best. When you show up and you're vulnerable and you're not putting on, just for the camera, like you're really yourself, no matter what it looks like. People need to see you vulnerable. People need to see you in your raw state, right? People need to see you as you are. And there is nothing wrong with that. People actually relate to that probably a little bit better. People like to see when you're doing well, but they also want to see that, hey, you too can have bad days, or hey, you too can have seasons where, you ain't really doing that great. And that is what people can relate to, because they can see, hey, I'm not the only one who goes through stuff. I'm not the only one who deals with stuff. Her life is not this, rainbows and butterflies. It's not that at all. She actually, is a real person. I feel like social media allows people to put on, the best parts of themselves, and they don't, we never ever really see like the real. So I'm learning that it doesn't matter if I'm not feeling my best. I can still come and share, and that I still have something valuable that I can bring even in those hard seasons. So let me just share with you guys a revelation that I had about something that I have been dealing with pretty much all of my life, but even more so now as an adult, as I get to navigate my relationships kind of the way that I want to navigate them, and I get to have the boundaries that I want to have, and I just get to choose. I'm more in control over my life, obviously, than I was as a child, where I really didn't have a choice, that I just, I had to deal with certain things, because what else was I supposed to do? There wasn't anywhere I could go. There wasn't really anyone I could talk to or tell. But now as an adult, I've really taken responsibility for my own life to make decisions to say, hey, this ain't gonna work for me. I'm gonna do something different. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to choose a different path for myself. But there is still one thing, like I said, that I have struggled with my entire life, and it still likes to rear its ugly head now as a 40-year-old woman. And that thing is caring too much. And what I mean by caring too much is, I have the remote control in my hand and I just hit the Zoom button. Back it up. Okay, what I mean by caring too much is, I know that I've shared on here before that I am actually a super emotionally charged is the term that I like to use. I'm a very emotionally charged person, which means I feel things deeply. I'm super sensitive. I carry my emotions and my feelings on my sleeve. I'm would even venture to say that I can be easily offended. Like I'm that is the way that the Lord made me. And so it has made me in different situations feel like I have cared too much about things. And so I have often prayed the prayer, God, please, can you just help me not to care? Can you just help me not to care so much? Because when I care too much, I always end up disappointed, feeling rejected, hurt, left out, all of those things, because I care too much about stuff. I let things get under my skin. And if I didn't care so much, if I had a much harder exterior, then maybe I wouldn't find myself always disappointed and rejected, or feeling rejected and hurt as much as I do. And so I was watching this podcast this morning. I'll put it up on the screen. It's the Dear Future Wifey podcast on YouTube, and the guest interviewee on the podcast this morning was Erica Campbell, who is one half of the group Mary Mary. Now, I'm a fan of Mary Mary. I am a super fan of Erica Campbell. So obviously I was like, this is going to be a good one. And they're all relatively good, depending on, what topics you're interested in. But I was like, this is going to be a good one, because I'm a fan of hers, and I love her work, and I love her music, and I love how she, I admire how she really strives to live for God in her marriage, in her family, in her ministry, all of the things. Right. And so I was watching this podcast this morning, and I don't even remember how they got on the topic. But she made the statement. She said she had to learn that it's okay to care, but it's not okay to carry. That hit me, first of all, like a ton of bricks, because I was like, oh my God. Like, that is exactly what I have been doing. Like, that is exactly what I do. Like, I care about things. God made me the type of person that I would feel deeply, that I would have strong emotions, that I would care about things. Like, that's the way God made me. And instead of like trying to ask God to take away, how he made me, as if he made some type of mistake. And we all know that God doesn't make any mistakes, okay? If you think that God has made a mistake, you are sorely mistaken yourself, okay? But God does not make any mistakes. And so, it's okay to care and to feel things, but you have to learn how to separate caring for things from carrying the things, or carrying just the difficulties that come with a relationship or a situation. And I was like, you know what? That is my problem. It's not that I don't want to care. It's that I don't want to continue to carry around the weight of caring about something. One, it can be too much. And the revelation that I got was that I am basically trying to do God's job. And that's why I always find myself feeling disappointed, feeling upset, feeling offended, feeling rejected, because I'm trying to carry around the difficulties of situations and relationships. I can care about it, but if I notice that something is maybe not sitting right with me, or maybe something has hurt my feelings, or just maybe something that just doesn't make me feel my best. Like, and I have a lot of moments like that. But if I notice that I'm in a situation like that, yes, care about it. Sit with those emotions, examine it, figure out why it, makes you feel that way. But once you do that, give it to God. Like, give that thing to God. It's not my job to carry that around. It's my job to, yes, see why that's happening, right? And I'm never going to be the type of person that ignores my emotions. I know that emotions are indicators of something deeper that needs to be maybe dissected, I guess. But yes, care about that thing, but it's not my job to carry around the burden, right, of those feelings, the burden of whatever's going on in the situation. It's God's job. Cast your cares on him because he cares for you. And I never realized that was what I was doing. I just thought that I just cared too much. And it's not that I care too much, it's just that I'm carrying it around too much. And I really need to get to a place, like my prayers need to change from God help me not to care to God help me not to carry it. Help me to give it to you when I find myself in that situation where I'm feeling those emotions, those triggers, those different pains, and like help me to give those things to you instead of me carrying it around. Because when I carry it around, I'm telling y'all, it has such a huge effect on one, my mood, two, just how I interact with people, the way I can forgive and have bitterness and resentment. Like, oh my gosh, it affects so many aspects of just me being and existing in the world, and not in a positive way, in a very negative way. And I need to not do that. I need to learn to care, but then learn to not carry. Because I be carrying on, honey. Okay? You know how the old folks say, you out here carrying on? I be carrying on. I be carrying stuff around and holding on to it, and my heart be hard. It's just a mess. It is a mess. And so I was really grateful this morning when I was listening to that podcast, and she said that I'm gonna link it so you guys can
watch it. I don't remember exactly how they got on the topic or what the topic of discussion was that led her to make that statement, but I'm telling you, it stuck out. It stuck out to me, and it really pierced my heart, and I just really felt the Spirit like saying, this is what I'm trying to get you to see. This is what I try to get you to see in every situation that makes you feel some type of way. This is what I'm trying to get you to see. I don't want to keep putting you in situations just so you can feel bad. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to keep having triggers in your relationships just so you can feel bad. I want you to see how when those things happen, how you just don't allow me to step in. You don't allow me to step in and take over and to carry the things that are obviously still too much for you to bear. And they probably will always be too much for me to bear. One, because I ain't supposed to bear them, God is. And two, that's the way He made me. He made me an emotional being. He made me super sensitive. There's nothing wrong with that. I used to think that there was something wrong with me because I was so sensitive, and it seemed like nobody could ever say anything to me, and I was just easily hurt. My feelings was easily hurt. And the older I get, I'm learning that there is nothing wrong with that. God does not make any mistakes. He did not make a mistake when He made me. So people can say whatever they want to say about me and how, you know, I'm this way or the other, but that is who God made me. Now, what needs to happen is, even though that is the way God made me, I have to learn to navigate through, you know, the way He made me in ways that are righteous, right? And that involves giving things to Him that are too much for me, right? Giving my negative emotions or my negative feelings, giving those things over to Him. It's not wrong that I feel those things. It's not wrong that I care about things deeply. But when I hold on to it, when I hold on to it, that's where the trouble comes in. And I have to learn to let God do the carrying. I can care, but He needs to carry it. So that was the revelation that I had today, and it was so good, like I said, because I've just been in this funk. I've just been dealing with different stuff. You know, I confessed in church a couple of Sundays ago about how I feel like this is supposed to be a happy time, and I'm triggered in the worst way. And like my uncle was talking about, you know, quicksand and what it's like being in quicksand, and the more you try to get out of it, the deeper you find yourself. And that's kind of where I've been in my feelings and my emotions. Like I'm trying to get out of things in my own strength because I'm trying to carry stuff. I'm trying to solve it, right? And bitterness and resentment has now taken root in my heart because of XYZ, right? And like I said, when I heard that this morning, it was like, oh, so if I do that, you know, if I give it to God to allow Him to carry the things that I care about, then I can get out of this quicksandy kind of situation, you know. And it's everywhere. It's been at home. It's been in my spiritual life. It's been at work, especially, you know. And it's just, I just got to do things differently. And so I'm just really grateful that I had that revelation. And I thought that it would be a good idea to get on here and to share that with y'all, and kind of give you an idea about where I've been and why I have shied away from making videos. That is why, because I just have not been handling life very well. I've been carrying around things that I don't need to carry around, and they have kept me from being my best for God. They have kept me from living courageously. See there? Thank you guys for, if you're an oldie but goodie, thank you for sticking around. If you're a newbie, I pray that you would come on back for some more. Thank you again so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the tribe, honey. Hit that notification bell so that you are notified every time your girl posts a new video. I love y'all, and hopefully I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye.